Hello and welcome to the part 2 of the test 1 review. The question that you're going to have is going to be something like 43 minus 4 in parentheses 7 times 9 minus 54. So we need to do this in the order of operations. So we're going to do what's in the parentheses first, and there we have a multiplication that we're going to do before the subtraction. So 7 times 9 is 63, keep the minus 54. Then we're going to do 63 minus 54, which is 9. Then we have to do the multiplication before we do the subtraction. So it's going to be 4 times 9 is 36. 43 minus 36 is 7. Then let's say we have 3 plus 5, and then in parentheses 3 plus 1. When we do this, again, do what's in parentheses first. So the 3 plus 1, we'll have 3 plus 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Add these together and we get 23. Next, let's say that we have 4 squared plus 4 minus 4. First thing we do is exponents. 4 squared is 16 plus 4 minus 4. Now we do addition and subtraction from left to right. So 16 plus 4 is 20 minus 4, and we're back to 16. Okay, the next one is going to be one that has more to it. So let's say we have 5, and then a bracket, 6 plus 4, parentheses, 7 times 9 minus 8, close the parentheses, close the bracket. So we have to do the very inside first, and there we're going to do the multiplication first. So the 7 times 9, everything else we bring down, and we're going to get 63 minus 8. Now we are going to do what's inside the very inside bracket. So we're going to have 63 minus 8, which is 55. 6 plus 4 times 55. And now we're going to do what's still inside the multiplication, 4 times 55. Six plus 4 times 55, 0, 220. And then we're going to add these. 5 times 226. Now we're going to do our final multiplication, and we're going to get 30, 10, 3, 10, 1,130. Then another one where we do the order of operations. Let's say we have 43 minus 4 in parentheses 7 times 9 minus 54. So we do the 7 times 9 first. 43 minus 4, 63 minus 54. When we subtract these, we're going to get 9. 43 minus 4 times 9. Then we do the multiplication. 4 times 9 is 36. When we subtract 43 minus 36, we're going to get 7. Then we're going to get something like 17x minus y if x equals 7 and y equals 13. So we're just going to plug in the 7 for the x, the 13 for the y. 17 times 7 minus 13. 17 times 7 is 119 minus 13, and our answer is 106. Next, it's going to give us the formula that distance equals rate times time, and it does give this to you. It tells you that the rate is 600 miles per hour. The time is 5 hours, and to find the distance, so we just need to multiply 600 times 5, and we get that the distance is 3,000 miles. Next, we're going to have something like 3x to the 7 plus 8x squared plus 9x to the 7 plus 2 plus 5x squared. And we just need to simplify this by combining like terms. So we can add the x to the 7s. So we have 3 plus 9 is 12x to the 7. Then x to the 2s, 8 plus 5 is 13x squared. And we just have the one term that is just a constant, and it's plus 2. After that, we're going to actually solve for a variable. So let's say we have x minus 4 equals 6. Since we're subtracting the 4, we're going to do the opposite and add 4 to both sides. We're going to have x equals 10. Next, we're going to have a garden that is 40 feet by 25 feet. How many feet of fence are needed to enclose that? So that's the perimeter. So it is 2L plus 2W. 2 times 40 plus 2 times 25, which is 80 plus 50, which would be 130 feet. So remember, area, you're multiplying the two numbers. For perimeter, you're going to multiply each one by 2, the 40 by 2, the 25 by 2, and then add them together. Note that on the test, the actual numbers are going to be different, but this is very close to what it's going to look like. Next, you're going to do a prime factorization. So let's say that we're going to do 154. So we're going to do prime numbers. The lowest one is 2. 2 will go into 154, and it will go 77 times. 2 will not go into 77, neither will 3, neither will 5. The next prime number is 7, and that will go 7, and it'll go 11 times. 11 is a prime number, so in this situation the answer will be 2 times 7 times 11. Make sure you do it in the right format, the way you had to in the homework and the quiz, and you will get this one right. Next, it's going to give you a list of numbers and ask which ones are composite numbers. So let's say you have 5, 9, 2, 15, 3, and 4. You just need to figure out which ones are not prime numbers. So 9, 15, and 4 in this situation. Now, let's say you start on a number line at 10. You move right 13, then left 5, and what do you come up with? So moving to the right is going up, moving to the left is going down. So we're going to say 10 plus 13 equals 23. And we're going to go back the other way. Minus 5 equals 18. Now we're going to go back to adding and subtracting. but this time we're going to have negative numbers involved. So let's say we have negative 26 plus 24. We have two numbers we're adding, and they have different signs. So we're going to subtract the larger absolute value, which is 26, minus 24. We're going to get 2. And since the 26 has a negative, which is 26 is the bigger of the two, the answer is negative 2. Then let's say we have negative 20 minus negative 18. When we have minus like that, it becomes plus. So we have negative 20 plus 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. The 20 has a negative, so again, our answer on this one will be negative 2. And we're going to go back to solving some equations, some simple ones. So let's say that we have this time x plus 4 equals negative 1. Since we're adding here, we're going to subtract, so minus 4 minus 4, x equals negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. Then let's say we have negative 8 equals 2x plus 2. So the first thing we want to do is isolate the variable by getting all the numbers on the other side of the equal sign. Since it's a plus 2, we're going to subtract 2 from both sides. We're going to get a negative 10 equals 2x by both sides by 2, and x will equal a negative 5. We have a negative divided by a positive, so we're going to have a negative answer, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. Next is a word problem where it says that Chris has hired a plumber to do work. The total bill is 1031. 415 equals parts, and the rest is labor. And labor is $44 per hour. So first we have to set up an equation. So we know that it's 415 base plus 44 times hour, and in this example it says to use an x. Make sure that you use whatever variable it tells you, and it equals 1031. So the first part of the question is just to figure out what the equation is in order to find out how many hours. Now we have to solve. We're going to subtract 415 from both sides. We'll have 44x equals 616 by both sides by 44, and x will equal, you're probably going to need to do this in long division, so it'll go into 61 one time, 44 left over, and we're going to get 87 and 1 and a 6. It will go into here 4 times, 16, so x equals 14. Now we're going to be given two numbers. Let's say we get a negative 17 and a negative 3, and we have to say if it's greater than or less than, or greater than, or equal to. So remember, on the number line, it goes from negative numbers up to 0. So we have this, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 1, 2, 3. 17 is smaller because it's going to be to the left. So negative 17 in this situation is less than negative 3. The last one of the review is going to be something like x divided by 8 equals -8. So since we're dividing, we need to multiply. So we're going to multiply both sides by 8. X equals -64. So that's the end of the review for test 1. If you can do everything on here, you'll be able to do the test. All I did was change the numbers around, but everything else is pretty much just like the test. So go over this as many times as you need to, and you should do very well on the test. Bye.